Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about something new to me, new to product launches, just new in general, and that is a new pair of sunglasses from Maui Jim, their new luxury collection and a new piece for the luxury collection. This is the Alika, this one in particular in my spec with one of the My Maui lenses, and this one is just a ready-made how they make them. But let's dive in, have some fun with it, take a look at this frame, and see if she's one you need in your collection. So with Maui Jim being a new contender into the luxury segment, of course, we had to check them out. I will say we have added it to the store now, so I can do a lot more of these videos on the Maui Jim products. But this guy in particular from the new luxury collection is the Alika. And they have a nice fun little blurb about it, which I can't read while I'm wearing these. But essentially, here is their thing. Inspired by the Arctic ship, the Melee Hula flows through a voyage on an Alika with vocal prowess and sustained nostalgia, sounding an open invitation to reimagine lush experiences and breathtaking visuals. Yeah, it continues on, but that's where we're going to stop because we're going to dive into how the frame looks beyond that, rather than reading their blurb about how the frame looks. The stock lens on these is going to be your neutral gray, which is, this guy over here. This is how they send it out. The neutral gray lens with their bi-gradient mirror. Really nice, dark, clean looks, classic. This is the black and gold colorway. There are two other colorways in this, one in which is the crystal and silver. So you'll have crystal chassis, silver adornments, and the blue Hawaii lens, which is a nice, clean, modern look. And then, of course, your classic tortoise with gold trim. So that one's also going to have the softer gold trim like this chassis, but it's going to come with this lens, which is the HCl bronze. Of course, the great thing with Maui is you can always custom order your favorite lens in any of these, which is definitely something I liked seeing as we were adding the collection, because we got to add in a lot of cool stuff that you can't just click and it's there. Because we have our own idea of what looks good, don't we? That is the HCl bronze in this chassis. In my opinion, it highlights the nice little gold adornments of the titanium pieces. Now, these are handmade in Japan with very nice attention to detail overall. I think there's some design choices that could have been done a little bit differently. The overall shape is very cool and definitely has that classic harkening silhouette. I love the addition of the exposed hardware here, which also doubles as where the bridge and the nose pads are mounted to. So you've got your classic keyhole bridge silhouette with your round chassis, but you've got your titanium pad arms with, I will always give points for this, ceramic nose pads. By far one of the best options because they feel cool on the nose. They're overall hypoallergenic, they keep the weight down, and they look really clean, but it gives you that full adjustability within the frame. Overall look, of course, titanium temples, the titanium pad arm, all exposed hardware to add a little punch to an otherwise very classic frame. What's nice with this, the added structure here of the bridge, the brow dip, and the flowing edge here makes it work on a lot of faces. So this is one that's really wide in its ability to look good on a face. There's not many that can't put this on and it still look good. Generally, I would not grab a round frame, but this one has enough added details, a little bit extra structure that makes it have a really cool, nice, clean look. Overall weight is very light. I did not measure out the actual grams on this one. I don't think they have it anywhere, but it does use their Maui Brilliant lenses, which keeps the weight down and still gives you really good optics. Of course, they are polarized, so I keep having to do this to look and see where we're at. Yeah, sorry, I have the Maui site pulled up. This is still new to me, okay? Give me a break. But I can still evaluate it my way. So for the width of the frame, we have a 49i, which means the distance between here and here is 49 millimeters, then a 24 millimeter bridge. So a distance from the inside and inside of the lenses is 24 millimeters, then another 49. Then we've got about 6 millimeters worth of horn edge out here. So you take your 49 and your 49, and your 24, and your 6, and your 6, and add all that up, and you have the overall width of the frame, which is going to be somewhere right around that 137 millimeter area. It's a good size to fit a lot of different faces. I think it's a very cool frame. It is very well done. There's some stuff that's weird to me, like the exposed bolt holes on the top. Not a huge fan of that at the price point they're shooting for with a new luxury collection. This is going to be in the 530. Yeah, 529 is what Maui has these retailing at. And to have just exposed little Phillips head bolts sitting right there at the top of the frame, not a huge fan of that myself. It kind of works, and what they did is on your temples, I don't know if the camera can quite pick it up because it is a very subtle detail, but from the front, there we go, it has a faux bolt. So like these temples are bolted through the front, but guess what? No, very traditional. It's your little general acetate front end piece. This is connected here, and there's a little sleeve in there that bolt hole goes, or that bolt goes down into and screws and holds this in place. But they wanted it to look like it bolts from the front to go with the overall kind of hardware-y type look here. There was something about that in the blurb up here. It is titanium temples are anchored to the front in a Baroque style hinge, reminiscent of a lighthouse tower. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it is a cool frame, aside from that one detail. Overall construction seems really nicely made. And generally I would worry about when I do see these because those holes can elongate, add some wiggle over time. But you've got enough reinforcements here at the way this is done that you've got a little bit wider contact area out at this edge. It's a little bit wider at the front. So that's going to keep that hole from kind of widening and elongating over time. Overall should be good. The other thing that caught me as weird, I mentioned these bolt holes here for the bridge. It does make it very serviceable, which is nice, but there is this weird little gap, and yeah, you can see it there. So it doesn't always seat exactly flush. Even between the two models, there's a little bit of difference on how much of a gap is there and the angle it's at. And that's probably a little excessively picky at this price point. You can see this one's got a nice even gap underneath. The other one, we've got just a little bit of difference. And you know, these are the tolerance things you see at mass production. Even when they're competing at the luxury level, it's very hard to compete at a luxury level with a mass-produced piece versus all these companies that are largely small batch production and micro batches, and they have just incredible attention to detail across the board. You don't get things like that quite as much. Do I still think it's good for the price point? Probably. I just much prefer more exotic, more exclusive, smaller batch stuff versus mass-produced things in general. So I'm going to be a little hard on Maui across the board. I hope they're ready for it. And you know, if they're not, well, I'm sure I will hear about it. No, I'm a little fish. They don't worry about me. Maybe. I could be understating that. We will find out, I guess, when this video airs, how much attention they pay. This guy, very cool frame. I think if you're on the fence about the Alika, it's one worth grabbing. At least see what you think about it. These temples do feel a little bit weird once they're nicely adjusted and in place. You know, the titanium's got a nice cooling effect. Overall, very good stuff. I like it. It's one worth adding. And of course, it's the Maui lenses, which I'm told are incredible. I have not had them out in the wild yet, though, so we will save that video for another time. On that note, I'll catch you guys next time.